Hello everyone, I'm Daniel Jones, and today I want to share my story, a journey filled with heartache, healing, and unexpected love. As an emergency room doctor, my life revolved around intense situations, often dealing with life and death. One particular night stood out, a culmination of long hours and stressful decisions. I had spent the last 2 hours in surgery, fighting to save the life of a 12-year-old who had been hit by a stray bullet. Despite the success, the night held its own darkness. I had also lost a young woman to a fentanyl overdose, a loss that weighed heavily on my heart. Exhausted, I drove home, the familiar streets blurring past, my thoughts consumed by the events of the day. When I pulled into my garage, a sense of dread washed over me. I activated the door closer, stepping into the house that felt emptier than ever. I heard the faint sound of a baby crying, and fear gripped me as I called out for my wife, Shonda. Rushing towards the nursery, I found her sprawled on the floor, lifeless. My heart sank, and I felt a cold chill of disbelief wash over me. I checked for a pulse, knowing deep down that she was gone. I called 911, all while my mind raced with a desperate need to comfort my 3-month-old daughter, Kalisha, who was still crying in her crib. The medical examiner later attributed Shonda's death to an aneurysm, a tragic twist of fate that left me reeling. I found myself grappling with the loss, questioning everything I had believed in. My world had shattered, leaving me to navigate life as a single father. The days turned into a blur of grief. I went through the motions of work and life, but behind closed doors, I found myself drowning in vodka and tequila each night, desperately seeking solace from the pain. I came from a long line of hard-working individuals. My grandfather, Mark Jones, had been a proud man who ran an auto repair shop and supported his family through all odds. My father, Samuel, had graduated with honors and found success in government. However, the strong lineage I was part of couldn't shield me from the weight of despair. My mother's early death from lung cancer only compounded my grief, leaving me without a safety net during my most challenging hours. In the midst of all this turmoil, I realized I needed help with Kalisha. Then, a glimmer of hope appeared when I was introduced to Rosa, the older sister of a nurse I worked with. She had recently lost her husband to a fever, and I could see the kindness in her eyes. I quickly arranged for her to come and help, filing the necessary paperwork to sponsor her for a work visa. Rosa became an integral part of my life and my daughter's life. She was short, with dark hair and a warm smile that slowly began to ease the heaviness in my heart. She took care of Kalisha with unwavering dedication, and seeing her gentle interactions with my daughter reminded me that love could still exist amid sorrow. Over time, however, a small part of me remained closed off, still tethered to the memories of Shonda. As the weeks rolled by, the darkness occasionally crept back, especially after particularly difficult shifts at the hospital. One fateful night, I returned home late and drunk after a rough day. In a haze of alcohol and grief, I had a vivid nightmare of Shonda, calling her name in my sleep. I was startled awake to find Rosa in my room, an innocent action turned into a terrible mistake. My actions that night are something I carry with me. A grief-stricken man in a tragic moment had crossed a line. The immediate horror on Rosa's face made the reality hit me harder than any physical pain. I had hurt her, and I knew I had to face the repercussions of what I had done. The next morning, we were forced to confront the fallout. It was one of the most difficult conversations I've ever had, and my heart ached as I attempted to explain my actions. Rosa, being the compassionate person she was, spoke softly. She didn't want me to face legal consequences, but she believed it was best for her to leave. I could see the hurt in her eyes, and I felt a deep sense of remorse. Somehow, during this painful exchange, I made a decision in a moment of desperation. I asked her to marry me. My proposal wasn't born out of love. It was more a desire to make amends and create a semblance of stability for Kalisha. As my heart remained rooted in grief for Shonda, I still wanted to take responsibility for what I had done. To my surprise, Rosa accepted, but we both knew we were embarking on a journey without the foundation of love. A few days later, we stood before a justice of the peace, committing to a marriage that felt more like a pact than a romantic union. Despite the unconventional circumstances, there was something comforting in having someone else by my side, sharing the responsibilities of parenthood. Over the next several months, I noticed a subtle change within myself. Rosa's presence became comforting, easing my sorrow. Slowly but surely, we began to build a life together. On some nights, we would share quiet conversations when the world around us was still. They were moments filled with tenderness and warmth, feelings I thought I might never experience again. As our marriage deepened, we discovered that Rosa was pregnant. I felt a mix of joy and anxiety. My heart raced with possibilities, but fear lingered just beneath the surface, reminding me of my losses. Sadly, when Rosa lost the baby during her 10th week of pregnancy, my worst fears came to life. I watched her heart break and felt helpless as she mourned. In the aftermath of that loss, we both struggled with our emotions. I was afraid to be intimate with her, fearing another tragedy would follow. But Rosa needed me, and I realized I couldn't keep myself at arm's length. We began to reconnect, and our intimacy flourished once more. As we navigated through these highs and lows, Rosa felt a desire to have her sister, Isabella, move in with us. Having lost her husband, Isabella was looking for a fresh start. I agreed, believing that having her sister nearby could help lift Rosa's spirits. Their bond was strong, and Isabella's presence brought a lightness back into our home. With Isabella living with us, it wasn't long before she announced that she was pregnant. It caught me off guard. I felt a strange mix of emotions, but when Isabella revealed the father was married and would not be involved, it opened a uniquely complicated door for our family. Rosa confessed that she had hoped I would become the child's father. The revelation shook me, yet somehow I couldn't stay upset. I could see their intentions were rooted in love and hope. In that moment, I realized that perhaps love doesn't always come in expected forms. It was in the laughter that filled our home, the warmth we shared at dinner, and the solace we found in each other. As the family grew, first with Isabella's son, Matteo, and later with our own children, I began to see a new horizon in my life. Rosa eventually gave birth to several more children, filling our house with laughter and joy. I learned to embrace each moment, finding small ways to cherish our unconventional family. I learned how to love again, slowly but surely, allowing joy to replace the heartache. However, Rosa faced more hardships with her health as she suffered another miscarriage, which ultimately led to a hysterectomy. In that moment, while my heart ached for her, a part of me felt relieved, knowing that she would experience no further pain regarding pregnancy. As time went on, our family blossomed. We had 3 beautiful daughters, Camila, Maria, and Sophia, and I saw the strength of the love that enveloped my new family. Growing up alongside those kids brought me joy I never thought possible after the tragic loss of Shonda. I had forged a new life amid the chaos, propelling us from dark days to bright futures, learning that love can indeed arise from the most unlikely situations. Through the pain, the healing, and new eyes to see life, I now know that family is what we make it. and sometimes love finds you in the most unexpected places. So, together with Rosa, Isabella, and our beautiful children, we continue this journey, embracing every moment and building a life filled with love, laughter, and hope. Thank you for listening to my story, a testament to resilience and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds.